Second graders, today we're working on lesson 7, punctuating dialogue. The objective, I can use correct dialogue punctuation when I punctuate dialogue with the tag at the end. Okay, I'm going to turn to page 31, and on page 31 you'll see an excerpt from Chicken Sunday, written by Patricia Polacco. Just like in cycle 1, you're going to go through, circle the quotation marks, and underline the dialogue. Okay, Stuart reached into the hole in the trunk of our wish tree. I see quotation marks here. I'm going to circle them. In our wish tree in the backyard. This actually isn't dialogue, but there are quotes used because it's the nickname for their tree. He pulled out a rusty Band-Aid tin. The three of us held our breath as we counted the money inside that we had been saving for weeks. Here's quotation marks. If we are going to get that hat for Miss Eula in time for Easter, we are going to need a lot more than this. Quotation mark. I announced. Here's dialogue. Okay, for Easter, we are going to need a lot more than this. I announced. All right, I'm going to stop there and save the rest for tomorrow. But I do want you to notice here, we have a comma, quotation mark, and then the tag at the end. I announced. Okay, so I'm going to turn the page here. So now on page 32. This is exactly like what you did in cycle 1. Even the same examples. I want this to stick in your brains. Okay, so we're not going to do the whole page. We're only going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4 today. We'll say 5 and 6 for tomorrow. Now, number 1, dialogue. I love ice cream. This dialogue can end in an exclamation mark or a question mark. This one happens to end in an exclamation mark. I want to think about what dialogue could I use from my own story. So I'm going to go back to my story sketch and think about, what is some dialogue that I can use from this story? Oh, I remember saying, ew. That's something I can say for my story. I can say, ew, what are you? Okay. Ew. What are you? Okay, ends in a question mark. Next one ends with a period. Okay, I read for an hour. Okay, looking back at my story sketch, what's some dialogue that I can use that just ends with a period? Oh, I remember thinking, I don't think you're supposed to be there. That's something I can add. So this would be inner dialogue for me. I don't think you're supposed to be there. When I found those grubs, I said, I don't think you're supposed to be there. Okay, let's see. Number 3. All right, so now I want to add our quotation marks to the dialogue that we just made. All right, so looking closely, this is tags at the end that have an exclamation mark or a question mark. I'm going to circle my quotation marks and underline the dialogue. This one ends in an exclamation mark. All right, so I'm going to say for my story, it's going to be, ew. What are you? Let's add the quotation marks. And last, I'm going to add, I wondered. Ew, what are you? I wondered. Okay, so number 1 and number 3 are very similar. What I'm adding in number 3 are the quotation marks and my tag at the end. So I know who is saying which dialogue. Next, number 4. Okay, with the tag at the end, ending with a period. I had said, I don't think you're supposed to be there. I want to add my quotation marks and my dialogue tag. So I can say, let's add the quote, I don't think you're supposed to be there. And because it ends in, oops, I didn't circle the quotation, underline the dialogue. And when I end here, I don't have an end mark like an exclamation or a question mark, but instead where there was a period, it's now going to turn to a comma. So I'm going to put a comma here. I don't think you're supposed to be there. And my tag is going to be, I thought. Okay, now I want to take these, numbers 3 and 4, I want to add these into my story. Okay, so I'm getting my draft out and thinking, okay, where could this go? So I squat it next, oh, creak, my knees cracked as I squat it next to my garden box. I wanted to get my garden boxes ready for planting. I dug into the soil and unearthed curled up creatures. That's where my ew, what are you, I wondered, can come in. So I'm going to say, make a little arrow here, quotation marks, ew. What are you? Question mark, quotation, I wondered. Okay, and then the next one, I don't think you're supposed to be there, I thought. Where could I add that in? Well, you know what? I think it would come right after. Let's see. Let me go back a little bit. I wanted to get my garden boxes ready for planting. I dug into the soil and unearthed curled up creatures. Ew, what are you? I wondered. I don't think you're supposed to be there, I thought. I don't think you're supposed to be there. Okay, I'm adding my quotation and add my quotation here. My comma is going to come before the quotation. And then I thought. Ew, what are you, I wondered. I don't think you're supposed to be there, I thought. All right, so students, today I want you to copy what I did from Chicken Sunday. Circling the quotation marks and underlining the dialogue only for the first 2 paragraphs. These first 2 sections right here. Stop at the maybe so we can have some to talk about tomorrow. And then I want you to fill out numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. And think about dialogue that you can add in your own story here. Think about what might have been said around you from other people or what you might have said to yourself for some inner dialogue. And think of something that could end in a exclamation mark or question mark, and then some dialogue that can end in a period. All right, and then I want you to take that dialogue and add it to your story. You can use arrows to help show the space on the side here is what you're using to add details. If you run out of space on the side, you can also add into the little white spaces in the middle here, these plain white spaces. You can also write more details in there. All right, and when you're done today, If you haven't finished your draft, I want you to spend 5 to 10 minutes finishing it. If you have finished, I want you to think about what's some more dialogue that you can add into your story. I'm already thinking for myself, I think I have even more dialogue that I can add. So spend some time thinking about more dialogue you can add to your story.